AITA for ruining my family after they defended my brother, an unfaithful fiancé. My name is Mason. I am 28 years old, and for most of my life I believed I had a solid family. Caring parents, trustworthy siblings, the whole American dream package. It turns out I was living in an illusion while everyone else was writing a different script. Travis is 1 year younger than me. We had that classic sibling rivalry growing up, constantly compared, always trying to outdo each other. He was the charmer, the free spirit who could talk his way out of any situation. I was the planner, the responsible one, the one who kept his commitments. Growing up, Travis was always the favorite. Not in an obvious way to people outside the family, but in those subtle little things that add up over time. When we both played football in high school, our parents went to every single one of his games, but missed half of mine due to scheduling conflicts. When he got a C on an exam, it was you did your best, but when I got a B, it was why is it not an A? This pattern continued into college. Travis partied for 4 years at a public university, barely graduating with a 2.3 grade point average, and my parents threw him a huge graduation party. I graduated with highest honors in accounting, and they took me to dinner at Olive Garden. The breadsticks were unlimited. At least our sister Kayla was the youngest, soaking up all the attention like a sponge and playing innocent when it suited her. My parents, Carol and Frank, were the most classic suburban couple you could find. My mom controlled everything with an iron fist disguised as worry, and my dad was the king of jokes and barbecue, avoiding conflict as if it were radioactive. I truly believed we were close, that we were there for each other. Looking back, I realize I was the only one who believed that. I was the pillar of the family, the one people could rely on, who helped out, who never caused problems, which apparently made me replaceable. Everything seemed perfect when Sophia entered my life during my junior year at Arizona State. We met through a group project, that kind of situation where you are forced to work together and where chemistry happens by chance. She had this energy that drew people in, confident, ambitious, incredibly attractive. I fell in love quickly and intensely. Looking back, there were probably signs I ignored, like her tendency to become strangely competitive with other women in our friend group, or to flirt with strangers when she thought I was not looking, before claiming she was simply being friendly. But when you are 21 and convinced you have found the right person, you close your eyes, you make excuses. By the end of the semester, we were officially together. She moved in with me 6 months later, and everything seemed perfect. We found a comfortable routine. I took care of the bills and the organization. She took care of making our social life exciting. I thought we complemented each other. In reality, I was doing everything while she coasted along. We talked constantly about the future. She wanted a big house in the suburbs, 2 kids, a golden retriever. I simply wanted whatever made her happy. Looking back, I realized she did a lot of talking while I just nodded. A classic dynamic I had learned by watching my parents. The woman decides, the man provides. Travis met Sophia at a family barbecue about a year into our relationship. I remember my mom pulling me aside to tell me how charming she was and how lucky I was to have found someone so beautiful. My dad made his usual jokes about me being whipped. Travis, however, did not say much that day. He just watched Sophia with a strange intensity that I could not figure out. I should have read the situation better. Over the next year, Travis started coming over to our place more often. He always had an excuse, like borrowing something, asking for professional advice, or just being in the neighborhood. Sophia never seemed bothered. She laughed at his jokes, touched his arm when talking, gave him that smile she once reserved only for me. I told myself I was being paranoid, seeing problems where there were none, that Travis was my brother and Sophia was my future wife, and neither of them would betray me like that. 2 years after we met, I proposed to her on a mild fall evening. Nothing extravagant, just the 2 of us in our favorite park. She said yes, cried tears of joy, and we started planning a summer wedding. I had saved for months to get her the ring she wanted, a 1-carat princess cut diamond set on a platinum band. It cost me nearly $4,000, but seeing her face made it all worth it. That proposal in November seemed to be the beginning of everything I had worked for. In reality, it was the prelude to the greatest betrayal of my life. In March, I had one of those rare quiet Fridays at work. I decided to surprise Sophia with her favorite takeout and spend a quiet evening together. I was working as an accountant at a mid-sized firm in Phoenix, making a decent living and aiming for a partner position. Responsible, stable, a little boring, exactly as I had always been. I stopped by this Thai restaurant she loved, the one that made pad cew exactly how she liked it. I also picked up her favorite spring rolls. The whole drive back, I was thinking about our evening, watching a movie, maybe discussing wedding venues, normal couple stuff. I walked into our apartment around 6 in the evening. Her shoes were by the door, those ridiculously expensive heels she had insisted on buying the previous month with my credit card. Her bag was on the counter, but something was wrong. It was too quiet, except for a faint noise coming from the bedroom. My stomach instantly tied in knots. You know that primal intuition that kicks in when something is wrong. That ancient part of your brain designed to detect danger. It was screaming, but I ignored the feeling. I told myself I was just being paranoid. Sophia was probably watching videos or on a video call with a friend. I put the bags of food on the kitchen counter and called out, "Hey honey, I am home early." But there was no answer. The bedroom door was closed, which was weird because she usually left it open during the day. The noises from the bedroom became clearer as I walked down the hallway. Laughter, low voices, that specific kind of quiet that means people are trying not to be heard. My hands started shaking as I reached for the doorknob. I opened the bedroom door, and my entire world shattered into 1,000 pieces. There was Sophia and Travis in our bed, the bed I had picked out, in the bedroom I paid for, in the apartment I was working myself to death for so we could build our life together. She was wearing the oversized t-shirt I had given her for Valentine's Day. The one with that ridiculous heart pattern she said she loved, claiming it was the most thoughtful gift she had ever received. It had cost me $40 from a boutique website. Apparently, it really was memorable, just not in the way I hoped. They were clearly involved in an intimate situation. The closeness of the scene was somehow worse than anything I could have imagined. It looked comfortable, familiar, like it was not the first time. They froze like deer in the headlights. The silence was deafening. You know that moment when your brain just stops working because the reality in front of you is too absurd to comprehend. That is exactly where I was. My mind was trying to find another explanation. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe I was hallucinating. Maybe I had walked into the wrong apartment. But no, it was real. It was my brother and my future wife in my bed, destroying everything I had built. Time did that weird thing where everything slows down. I noticed everything. Travis' guilty look, the panic in Sophia's eyes, their clothes scattered on my side of the bed, and the way her ring, my $4,000 ring, caught the light as she scrambled to pull up the covers. And Travis had the nerve to say, "It is not what you think." I almost laughed. The absurdity of that sentence when the evidence was right there. In my apartment, it was almost comical. What else could it be? A surprise party gone wrong. An art installation about betrayal. "Get out of here," I said. My voice was flat, emotionless. Shock has a way of numbing the initial pain. He started to move, then stopped. "Mason, man, let me explain." "There is nothing to explain. I see perfectly well what this is. Get out of my apartment." Sophia finally found her voice. "Mason, please listen to me." "No," I cut her off. "You made your choice. You both made your choice. Now deal with it." Travis picked up his clothes and got dressed, still talking. Something like, "It just happened. We did not want it to go this far. And I am really sorry, bro." Sorry. As if sorry meant anything when you just burned your brother's life to ashes. I watched him get dressed in silence. I watched Sophia cry those pretty tears that once made me want to comfort her. I felt nothing. That numbness was almost soothing in a strange way. Travis left without another word. Sophia tried one last time. "Mason, we need to talk about this. We can fix this. There is no we anymore. Get your things and leave. You have until tomorrow afternoon." "But where am I supposed to go? I hear Travis has some space." "You looked comfortable enough there in spirit." She flinched as if I had slapped her. "Good." I walked out of the bedroom, grabbed my keys, and drove to my friend Eric's place. I did not even call ahead. I just showed up. Eric looked at me for a second and asked, "What happened?" I discovered my brother and my future wife together in our bed in a compromising situation. He went pale. "Holy shit, are you okay?" I nodded. But no, I was not okay. I was in shock. The true weight of the situation did not hit me until later. Around 3 in the morning, lying on Eric's couch, staring at the ceiling. That is when it hit me. The woman I planned to marry, The person I trusted most in the world after my family had been involved in an affair with my brother in our home, in our bed, wearing my gifts. While I was at work, probably thinking about her, planning our future. How long had this been going on? Weeks, months? Did it start before or after the engagement? Was he laughing at me when I was not around? Did the whole family know? The questions looped in my head all night. Eric came to check on me a few times without forcing me to talk. He just brought me water and told me I could stay as long as I needed. The next day, while I was at work, Sophia moved out. I had told her to leave, so I expected it. What I did not expect was to come home and find that she had taken more than her things. She had also taken some of mine. The high-end coffee maker we had received for our housewarming, my favorite blanket, even some furniture I had paid for. And she left a note on the kitchen counter, right where we kept our engagement photo. The photo was gone, obviously, probably already thrown away or destroyed in a dramatic gesture. The note was short, but managed to pack a maximum amount of emotional manipulation into a few sentences. She said she had fallen in love with Travis and never wanted to hurt me, followed by a bunch of nonsense about how these things sometimes happen and that she hoped I would one day find it in my heart to forgive them. She claimed they had tried to fight their feelings, but that love had ultimately won. Love, she called it love. As if love justified betrayal. As if love gave you the right to destroy someone's life. The note ended with the final blow. I hope you can still be happy for us someday. Travis and I want to do things right and have your blessing. My blessing. They wanted my blessing to continue a relationship built on the ruins of my trust. Their audacity was breathtaking. I crumpled the note and threw it away. I thought about burning it, but that would have given it too much importance. It was just garbage, like the relationship she was talking about. The apartment felt empty without her things everywhere, but I preferred that emptiness to the lie. At least the emptiness was honest. At least the emptiness did not smile in your face while stabbing you in the back. My family found out within a few days. I did not tell them anything. I imagine Travis or Sophia spoke up to control the narrative. Probably Travis, trying to spin the story to sound less awful. My mom called immediately, furious. Not at me, but at Travis. She kept repeating that she could not believe her own son could betray me like that. He is no longer welcome here, she said over and over. I cannot believe he did this to you after everything you have done for this family. It felt good to have her support, but I was not naive enough to think it would last. My mom's loyalty has always been conditional. She is the kind of person who prides herself on keeping the family together. Even if it means sweeping nuclear-level betrayals under the rug, give her 2 weeks, and she would be asking me to forgive him for the sake of the family. The call lasted almost an hour. My mom cried, asked questions about how I found out the truth. If I had spoken to Travis since, I gave her the bare minimum. I discovered them. I told them to leave. I have not spoken to either of them since. What were they thinking? She kept asking, as if I had any insight into how Travis' mind worked. He was thinking about himself, Mom, like always. She did not like that answer, but could not really argue with it. My dad, on the other hand, was different. When I finally answered one of his calls 2 days later, he just sighed and said, well, I guess these things happen sometimes. Okay, let's pause for a moment. This is me. These things happen. That is what this man said to his son. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Some parents were never really capable of being parents. They were simply two people who had kids and winged it as they went along. And Frank avoided conflict. The king of the barbecue, the one who tells jokes, the man who spent 26 years making everyone comfortable instead of doing what is right. And children of parents like Frank, they grow up with a silent wound because they constantly look to their father for protection, for validation, for someone to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. Period. And it never came, not once. The worst part, Frank was not even malicious. He genuinely believed that smoothing things over was the most loving thing to do. That is what makes the situation so painful. He was not a villain. He was just absent where it mattered most. And Mason, deep down, probably already knew his dad would react like this because it was not the first time Frank chose comfort over truth. It was simply the most devastating time. That is the real crushing blow. Now, back to the poster. I guess these things happen sometimes. That casual dismissal hit me even harder than my mom's dramatic reactions. These things happen. That is all you have. I mean, it is not right, obviously. But you are both adults. You will figure it out. Figure it out. Dad, he had an affair with my future wife in my apartment, in my bed. There is nothing to fix. People make mistakes. Mason, you cannot hold a grudge forever. It was not a mistake. A mistake is accidental. This was a choice. Even multiple choices. Then, your mother wants to set up a family meeting, get everyone together to talk about it. There is nothing to discuss. Travis is dead to me. End of discussion. Do not be dramatic. He is your brother. He said that word brother, as if sharing the same DNA excused this level of betrayal. He stopped being my brother the moment he decided getting involved with Sophia was worth destroying our relationship. My dad sighed again. That disappointed sigh he had perfected over the years when faced with what he considered his children's unreasonable behavior. You are upset, I understand. But let some time pass. You will see things differently. I hung up on him. If he thought time would make me forgive this, he was completely missing the mark. Kayla tried to be there, but I could feel she was torn. She would call to check on me, saying she could not believe what Travis and Sophia had done, but there was always this hesitation in her voice, that careful tone people use when they do not want to take sides. I am so sorry this happened to you, she told me during one call. It is awful. Truly awful. Thank you. Have you talked to Travis? No, and I do not plan to. He feels really bad, you know. He beats himself up over it. And there was the subtle defense. The idea that his guilt mattered more than my suffering. Good. He should feel bad. He did something horrible. I know. I'm just saying maybe someday you guys could talk, work things out. There is nothing to work out, Kayla. You do not fix this kind of betrayal. You cut it out of your life and you move on. She went quiet, and I could almost hear her inner conflict. Support Mason or preserve the family peace. Be honest or diplomatic. I am here for you, she finally said. Whatever you need. But I knew that support had limits. As soon as the family pressure started, Kayla would cave. She always did. For weeks, I ignored most of their calls. I let them go to voicemail. I replied to texts with a single word. I did not have the energy to relive what had happened or to hear justifications for why I should move on. Instead, I buried myself in work. I started pulling 60-hour weeks, volunteering for all the extra projects, staying late every night. My apartment was too quiet, too full of memories. So I avoided it. It was better to be at the office, focused on numbers and deadlines, rather than on betrayal and broken trust. My coworkers noticed, but did not ask questions. I had always been the quiet guy who kept his professional and personal lives separate. They probably thought I was aiming for a promotion or going through a minor personal issue. If only they knew. My boss Paul noticed I was putting in more hours and asked if everything was okay. I gave him the corporate version, a few personal issues. Work helps me stay focused. He nodded, said he appreciated my commitment, and then mentioned the Denver office. Apparently, they were having trouble finding someone to lead the team out there. A good, reliable accountant willing to relocate. I fit the profile perfectly. Paul thought it would be a great opportunity for me. A promotion, a significant raise, and most importantly, 3 states and 800 miles away from Travis, Sophia, and the family circus. Think about it, Paul said. No pressure, but the opportunity is there if you want it. I did not need to think about it. I wanted to leave Phoenix, far from the memories, the family drama, the constant reminders of what I had lost. Denver sounded perfect. I am interested, I told him. Very interested. Great. I will set up a call with the Denver manager. This could be exactly what you need. He had no idea how right he was. When I told my parents about the move, my dad simply said, "Good for you. A fresh start might be exactly what you need." My mom, however, reacted as if I had announced I was moving to Antarctica. She cried, begged me to reconsider. What about family dinners and holidays? You cannot just abandon us like this, Mason. I told her I was not abandoning them. I was abandoning Travis, the person who had deliberately chosen to destroy my life. He is no longer part of this family, she insisted. You do not need to run away. We have disowned him. He is no longer welcome at family gatherings. Until you change your mind, I replied. Which we both know you will do. I will never do that. Mom, I have known you for 26 years. You do not believe in permanent consequences. Give it a few months, and you will make excuses for him. She tried to protest, but I was not interested in promises I knew she would not keep. The opportunity in Denver moved faster than expected. Paul expedited my transfer, and by early June, I had an official offer, a 20% raise, senior accountant position, and relocation assistance. I gave my landlord notice, started packing, and gave away half my furniture to avoid the attached memories. Eric helped me load the truck, and by mid-July, I was gone. I did not tell my family the exact date of my departure. I did not give them my new address. I left Phoenix without looking back. The Denver office was perfect. A new team, new projects, a new city where no one knew my story. For the first time in months, I could breathe without drowning in family drama. I found a decent apartment, bought new furniture, and started fresh. But obviously, they could not leave me alone. In July, I received a call from my mom. Her voice had that careful, calculated tone she uses when she is about to say something she knows I will not like. "Mason, honey, we need to talk about Travis." And there it was, right on schedule. For months after swearing he was disowned, my mom was ready to forgive and forget. "No," I said. "We do not need to talk. Please listen to me. Travis and Sophia, they are getting married." Silence on my end. I left her hanging with that sentence. "They are planning a wedding in November. Nothing big, just family and close friends. And they want to reconcile with you first. They do not want their wedding ruined by this family drama." Family drama. As if the fact that my brother had an affair with my future wife was equivalent to a simple scheduling issue. "They want to apologize properly," my mom continued, face to face. "They know they were wrong, and they want to make amends before moving forward." Good for them. My answer is no. "Mason, please. I am not reconciling. I am not giving my blessing. I will not attend their wedding. I am not interested in their apologies, their attempts at making amends, or whatever nonsense is being dictated by their guilt. But he is your brother." "No, he is not my brother. Brothers do not do what he did. He is just someone I used to know who destroyed my life without facing a single consequence. He is facing consequences. He lost you, and he beats himself up over it." I burst out laughing. "He beats himself up, he lost me. Mom, he chose this. He chose Sophia over me. He chose temporary satisfaction at the expense of his family. He chose to betray me in the worst possible way. Those were all conscious decisions. People make mistakes. Stop calling it a mistake. A mistake is accidental. This was intentional. Calculated." He looked at my life and decided it was worth destroying. She started to cry. Those manipulative sobs she mastered so well. "You are destroying this family. Travis wants to fix things, and you are refusing out of pride. I am being stubborn. I am not the one who had an affair with his brother's future wife and then asked for forgiveness 4 months later to avoid an awkward wedding. That is not fixing things. That is damage control. He has changed. Mason, really. Sophia changed him. She is good for him." That sentence was so absurd, I did not even know how to respond. The woman who betrayed me with my brother is supposedly good for him. You know what? This conversation is over. Do not call me about this again. Mason, please. I hung up, but that was just the beginning. Over the next 2 weeks, I got calls from my dad, from Kayla, even from extended family members I hardly ever spoke to, all with the same message. Forgive, let it go, come to the wedding, stop being difficult. My dad tried the rational approach. Listen, son, holding a grudge does not hurt them. It hurts you. Let it go and move on. I have moved on. I moved to Denver. I got promoted. I started over. That is moving on. You know what I mean, emotionally. You need to forgive them. Why? What do I get out of it? They get absolution. The family gets to pretend everything is fine. And I have to swallow my pain and put on a happy face. How exactly does that help me? He had no answer. Kayla tried a more emotional approach. Travis is taking your absence really hard. He is depressed. He barely eats. Sometimes he cries when we talk about you. Good. Mason, how can you be so cold? I am not cold. I am realistic. He is facing the consequences of his actions. That is called justice, not cruelty. But it is family. Family does not do what he did. Kayla, how many times do I have to repeat it before someone listens to me? She went quiet for a moment. I just wish you could see how much he has changed, how sorry he is. If he were really sorry, he would not be marrying Sophia. If he were really sorry, he would leave me alone instead of demanding my forgiveness so his wedding photos would be complete. The calls continued. In August, I received a wedding invitation at my Denver address. No idea how they got it, probably by calling Paul's office pretending to be family. The invitation was elegant, printed on cream cardstock, announcing Travis and Sophia's wedding with all the details. I threw it straight in the trash without reading it. I did not even give them the satisfaction of an official RSVP. Then September came. On the day of the wedding, my phone, which I kept unblocked for work, blew up with texts and calls from distant family members. Where are you? The ceremony starts in an hour. Your mom is crying. You need to be here. How can you miss your brother's wedding? I ignored everything. I went to the gym. I did a 2-hour workout, then came home to watch movies. A normal Saturday. The next day, the fallout arrived. Kayla called from a new number I had forgotten to block and instantly attacked. How could you do that? Everyone was asking about you. Mom was humiliated. Travis was heartbroken walking down the aisle without you. Sounds like a personal problem for them. You are cruel, Mason. It was the most important day of his life. The most important day of his life was one of the worst days of mine. Funny, right? Everyone is disappointed in you. They cannot believe you are being so petty. Well, they can join Travis in the dead to me category. I do not want to maintain relationships with people who think I should forgive just because it is convenient for them. She tried to keep going, but I hung up and blocked that number too. For months after that, I had peace, real peace. I built my life in Denver without the constant pressure to forgive the unforgivable. I made new friends. I invested in my work. I started enjoying life again. Then February came, and with it, Kayla's ambush. I was at a coffee shop near my office when Kayla walked in. I almost did not recognize her at first. She had changed her hair and lost weight. Then she spotted me and headed straight for my table with that determined look she gets when she is on a mission. Mason, oh my God, I have been looking everywhere for you. I should have left immediately. I should have kept my walls up and maintained my boundaries. But seeing her face after 6 months of silence triggered something. Not forgiveness, maybe curiosity or stupidity. How did you find me? I asked, without inviting her to sit, knowing she would anyway. Mom hired someone to find you. She is desperate to talk to you. Kayla sat across from me without waiting. Of course, Mom had done that. Privacy means nothing when you want to force a reconciliation. Mom hired a private investigator. That is not desperation, that is harassment. It is not like that, Kayla protested. She is just worried about you. Is she worried about me, or about the image it gives that I am no longer in the family photos? She flinched, but kept going. Mason, listen, things have changed. Travis and Sophia, their marriage is not doing very well. They are struggling, and Travis realized what a huge mistake he made. Struggling. Interesting. What kind of struggling? Kayla leaned forward, lowering her voice. Money problems, work issues, they fight all the time. Sophia quit her job to find herself, or whatever. So Travis has to support them both on just his salary. He is constantly stressed. And you are telling me this because he knows he made a mistake. He knows what he did to you is unforgivable. He wants to apologize, genuinely apologize, not just say the words. I took a sip of coffee, letting the silence settle in. And let me guess, Mom thinks that if Travis apologizes and I forgive him, everything will go back to the way it was. Not the way it was. Different. Better. The family is falling apart without you, Mason. Mom and Dad barely speak to each other. Everyone is taking sides. It is chaos. Good. They should take sides. There are sides to pick in this situation. But you could fix this, Kayla said, her voice rising slightly before settling down. You could bring the family together, forgive Travis. Move on, and we could all heal. The audacity was staggering. The victim had to fix the family the culprit had broken. No. Mason, please. I am not interested in Travis' apologies. I am not interested in helping Mom and Dad feel better about tolerating his behavior. I am not interested in healing with people who do not respect me. It is not fair. Fair. You want to talk about fairness. What would have been fair is my family supporting me when my life was destroyed. What would have been fair is Mom keeping her promise to disown Travis. What would have been fair is someone, anyone, putting my pain ahead of Travis' guilt. Kayla's eyes filled with tears, right on cue. I supported you. No, you said things that sounded nice, while ultimately siding with them. There is a difference. I was trying to keep the family together by sacrificing myself again, like always. She grabbed my arm across the table. Please, Mason, at least listen to him. Do it for the family. I pulled my arm away and stood up. I have no family anymore. I have DNA donors who picked a side, and they picked the wrong one. You are being cruel. We all miss you. Mom cries nonstop. Dad does not speak anymore. He just sits there staring blankly. They made their choice by welcoming Travis and Sophia with open arms while treating me like the problem. That is their responsibility, not mine. So you are just going to walk away forever. You are going to throw away 26 years of family over one mistake. One mistake? Is that what you call it? I laughed humorlessly. Kayla, Travis did not accidentally end up in my future wife's bed. It was a series of deliberate choices over a long period. It is not a mistake. It is a pattern of betrayal. She tried to continue, but I cut her off. I am done with this conversation. Do not contact me again. Tell Mom to stop stalking me. Tell Travis his apologies are neither wanted nor necessary. Tell Dad that some grudges deserve to be held. I walked out while she was still searching for her words, leaving my half-full coffee on the table. I felt no remorse. Kayla's ambush was just the beginning. 2 weeks later, I was at work when Paul called me into his office. He looked uncomfortable, fidgeting with some papers without making eye contact. Mason, your dad is here. He is in the lobby, asking to see you. My stomach dropped. Frank had managed to figure out where I worked and decided a workplace confrontation was appropriate. These people's audacity never ceased to amaze me. Have security escort him out. I tried. He refuses to leave until he speaks to you. He says it is urgent. I closed my eyes, counted to 10, then 20. All right, I will handle it. I went down to the lobby, and there he was. Frank looked older, more tired, gray hair where it used to be brown, wrinkles around his eyes that were not there a year ago. For a fraction of a second, I felt sorry for him. Then I remembered he had downplayed his son's betrayal as if it were nothing, and all compassion vanished. Mason, we need to talk, he said, standing up. No, we really do not. How did you find me? Your mom hired someone. We have been looking for you for months. That is called stalking. Frank, you should look up the legal definition. He flinched when I used his first name instead of Dad. It was intentional. A reminder that he had forfeited the right to that title. Do not call me that. I am your father. Fathers protect their sons. They support them when they are hurt. They do not support the people who hurt them. You are not acting like a father, so I am not going to call you one. His face turned red. It is exactly this kind of disrespectful attitude that is destroying this family. No, Travis having an affair with my future wife is what destroyed this family. The fact that I refused to pretend it did not happen is just the consequence. He took a deep breath, trying to calm down. Your mother and I want you to come home for Easter. The whole family will be there, including Travis and Sophia. We're going to sit down like adults and work this out. Out of the question. You cannot run away forever. They are your family. No, they are people who share my DNA. Family would not do what they did. Family would not condone that. You are not my family anymore. You are strangers I used to know. He looked genuinely hurt, as if my words were worse than what he had done to me. The cognitive dissonance was incredible. I know you are angry. I am not angry. Anger implies I still care. I am indifferent. You have all become insignificant in my life. That is not true, and you know it. If you were truly indifferent, you would not be so hostile. He was not wrong, but I was not going to admit it. Indifferent to your opinions, hostile because you show up at my workplace to force me to deal with this again. Your mother is sick with worry over you. She has not slept in months. She is losing weight. The stress has destroyed her. Then she should have thought about that before choosing Travis over me. She did not choose anyone. She chose to keep the family together by forcing the victim to forgive the culprit. That is not uniting a family. That is enabling harmful behavior. Harmful. Do not be dramatic. Travis made a mistake. And there it is. A mistake. You keep using that word. It does not mean what you think it means. Frank ran a hand through his thinning hair, visibly frustrated. What do you want from us, Mason? What would it take for you to come back? A time machine. Go back in time and stop Travis from destroying my life. Other than that, nothing. There is nothing you can do to fix this. So you are really going to throw away your whole family, your history, your roots. My roots are poisoned. I am growing new ones. He stood there for a moment, defeated. Your mother is going to be devastated. She had multiple chances to make the right choice. She got it wrong every time. That is her problem, not mine. I do not know what happened to you. The Mason I raised would not be this cold. The Mason you raised let people walk all over him and accepted it. I learned to stand up for myself. That is what happened. I turned to walk away, then stopped. And Frank, if you or anyone in this family comes back here, I will file a restraining order. Tell Mom to stop stalking me. I am done being harassed. I went back upstairs without waiting for his answer. Paul was waiting by my desk, looking concerned. Everything okay? It will be. If my family contacts this office again, have security throw them out immediately. I will start the process for a restraining order if necessary. Understood. Sorry you had to deal with that. It is not your fault. Just the family acting like usual. Except they were not my family anymore. They were obstacles I needed to permanently eliminate from my life. March brought the nuclear option. They showed up at my house. I got home late from work and found them on my porch. Mom, Dad, and Kayla. Travis and Sophia were standing near a car in my driveway. The anger that washed over me was cold and sharp. Get off my property. My mom stepped up with that pseudo-compassionate face that looked incredibly fake. Mason, please, we drove 6 hours to see you. Just give us 10 minutes. You drove 6 hours to ambush me at my home, which you found through illegal means. That does not make you devoted people. It makes you stalkers. Get off my property, or I am calling the police. Travis took a step forward. I put my hand up. Stop. Do not step forward. Do not speak. You lost the right to my attention when you decided getting involved with my future wife was worth destroying my life. Mason, I am sorry. He ignored me. I know I was wrong. I regret it every day. Sophia and I want to fix this. The absolute nerve of asking for forgiveness while standing there with the woman he had taken from me. You are sorry you got caught. Sorry your actions have consequences. Sorry I did not just take it, but you are not sorry you did it. Otherwise you would not have married her. Sophia started crying. I loved you, but I fell in love with Travis. It was not planned. No, it does not just happen like that. You made a choice. Multiple choices, in fact. My mom tried to intervene. Mason, you are being unreasonable. They made a mistake, but they are trying to make it right. The right thing to do is to forgive. The right thing to do would have been not getting involved with my future wife. My dad added, son, holding on to resentment will only hurt you. And right there, something inside me snapped. You want me to let it go? Fine. Here is what I am letting go of, all of you. Travis destroyed my life, and you welcomed him back. Sophia betrayed me, and you accepted her. Kayla stood by and said nothing. And you too, I said, pointing at my parents. You treated it like a minor detail. We are trying to keep the family together. No, you are trying to avoid the truth by forcing the victim to forgive. You are our son. I was your son. Now I am just the guy whose life you ruined. I pulled out my phone and started recording. I want you to hear this clearly. I will never forgive you. You are dead to me. If you come back, I am getting a restraining order. My mom was crying. My dad was in shock. Kayla was sobbing. Travis and Sophia stood frozen. Get out. You have 60 seconds before I call the police. They left. I locked everything up and started the legal process. 8 months later, I have not heard from them again. The best months of my life. Comment. I sat with this story for a while after recording it. What stood out to me most is how important it is to value your own worth. You can't pour from an empty cup, so taking care of yourself comes first. Setting clear boundaries helps you keep the right people close. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is choose yourself. Healing isn't about forgetting. It's about moving forward with self-respect. I encourage you to think about the relationships that truly lift you up. Responsibility for your happiness starts with the decisions you make today. Finding peace might mean letting go of what no longer serves you. And remember, you are never alone in wanting a life that feels right. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.